in Texas, because of the way it's set up, you can legally get tattooed by somebody that you think is a professional because they work there, but they've never tattooed in their life.
That's really scary.
Yeah, dude.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Missy Monoxide coming at you from Dallas with DTXSTREET Sessions. We're all about artistry, stories, and culture, and I'm here to bring you the latest and greatest from some of the most impressive people in the city. Today I have Colin Johnson, a tattoo artist, graphic designer, and shoe customizer here in Dallas. Hi Colin.
Hi, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Awesome. Okay, so tell us a little bit about Colin.
Let's see, a little bit about me. Born and raised in Dallas, Texas, specifically Duncanville, until about 8th grade. Then transferred to Midlothian for high school. I could go real deep. Went to community college at Navarro in Midlothian for about a semester, and then went to Christ for the Nations Institute in Dallas, Texas, and graduated from there. Started tattooing right around the end of college. Started my apprenticeship.
Okay. I actually knew, back when I went to church, I knew a couple of people that went to Christ for the Nations. That was an interesting, school, I guess. It's like so small. Like, I guess only like if you're in that would be the only time that you would know about it. Cause I never had heard about it before.
Me either.
Yeah. How did you even get in there?
I got invited to, they have a thing on Tuesdays called Tuesday Night Experience. And I went to one of those and loved it and was like, I'm going here next semester. I think I just stopped going to community college and started working more. Do they have
is it like regular classes or is it all like religious?
Yeah, there's no like math or anything like that, but it's, it's more, almost all of it's faith-based classes.
Okay.
Like homiletics and hermeneutics,
what is that?
Life and teachings of Christ.
Okay.
Stuff like that. Learning about other types of faith too. Apologetics. It makes it sound fancier. Those words make it sound.
Is apologetics like learning about other faiths?
It's about learning about other faiths, and so with the purpose of defending your own faith, essentially.
Okay, is that why it's called like apologetics?
I guess so.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So, like, what kind of degrees do they have? Is it like if you want to be like a pastor or? Yeah.
So it's just a 2-year degree, the associate's degree. At the time, it wasn't even an accredited school. They became accredited, semester
recently,
after I left. Yeah. Yeah. Within a couple years. What was your question?
Did they have like regular degree programs?
So there was like 4 or 5 main focuses. There was the biggest ones were the worship, I guess you'd call it like a worship major, and missions. But there was also youth ministry, children's ministry, and the one I always forget, I can't remember the last one.
No. Is children and youth, like the children would be like the little kids, and then youth is more like
young adults.
Like young adults. Okay.
Like high school, college aged.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So did you end up getting a degree from there?
Yeah, I finished there. And it became a degree once they got at the time it was just like a diploma or something like that, whatever you'd call that.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
So from there, how did you get into the journey of becoming a tattoo artist? Because it's like 2 super different things. Not that they can't be, like inclusive of each other, but it's kind of interesting how you go from like a faith-based type of career. Not that tattoo can't be faith-based,
right?
But it's like you didn't go and become a pastor or something like
going
that.
from something super
like in the church
to something taboo, essentially.
Yeah, because I know like there are faith people who don't believe in tattoos and they actually like look down on tattoos.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Like, how did you go from there to tattooing?
So I was always an artist, and I started getting tattooed when I was first tattoo was at 14 from a buddy who was also 14, and then I just would use another friend of ours, his ID to go get tattoos at a shop.
Were y'all like similar? looking?
No, not at all.
So how did that even work?
I don't even know. He had a shaved head. I remember the guy looked at me and looked at, like, the counter guy looked at the ID and looked at me and then looked at the guy next to him and then just goes, "This ain't you, dude." And I go, "Oh man, I know. What did I say? I was like, don't give me a hard time about it. I know people always tell me that I don't look like that anymore. What, you know, trying to play it off like, you know, like, don't people always give me a hard time, please, you know, come on, let's get through this paperwork. I want to get this tattoo and get out of here." And they just went with it. I mean, it was not like a sketchy shop, but not like one of the top shops. So they were just like, money. Okay.
Yeah. Like they didn't care to investigate.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. So the 14-year-old that gave you a tattoo, like, did he have like an actual tattoo gun, or y'all
he had
did
like some little cheap kit he bought off of eBay probably?
And you trusted him, and like, that's trust.
Kind of. So he tattooed himself. So I was always an artist, so I knew I wasn't going to let him do anything legitimate on me. So he had tattooed the palms of his hands. He did like a little smiley face with X eyes, and on the bottom of his feet, and they're gone by the time they heal, like 6 weeks later. Okay. Or sooner. Because
they weren't deep enough?
Well, it's just hard that those parts of the body just don't really hold ink very well.
I didn't know that.
But so I was like, yeah, I'll let you do something on me. Then, you know, I know it'll be gone. It's funny. You know what I mean? I can try and hide it. I don't know. That was stupid to think.
Yeah, like on your hand.
Yeah. But here it is. It's still there. All this time later. It says made in China.
No way.
Yeah.
It's stuck that long?
Yep.
That's crazy. Are you going to keep it forever?
I mean, yeah, I guess I don't have it. I won't remove it. Now it's like, it's funny because it's my first one. And it is straight. The letters aren't the greatest, but it is straight. So
that's funny. Oh my God. Who knew? Okay. So then you've always been an artist. And did you start off, like, what is it like to become a tattoo artist? I know there's like a process.
So the proper way is to get an apprenticeship, and the only way to do that really is to find all the local shops and go around. I guess now you could do it through Instagram, but you'd show up with your portfolio and show interest in wanting to become a tattooer and just pray that they're taking apprentices. And then if you're lucky enough to find a place that is, then you got to pray again that they're going to be someone they're going to be a shop who's going to really treat you properly and educate you and not just string you along for free work, essentially.
Is that an issue that you've noticed in the industry?
Yeah.
Does that happen a lot?
It does.
So, like, what is that like? You come in and you're like hopeful that they're going to teach you something in exchange for you, like maybe taking care of stuff around the shop and stuff. And
yeah, so that's the fair trade in it, is you help take care. I mean, those running or doing paperwork and cleaning isn't necessary. I mean, cleaning, but those aren't things necessarily that will teach you to tattoo, but you're trading labor for an education, essentially. So some people take it too far and have you like shingling their house or like washing their dogs or doing crazy stuff. Or like, you know, maybe as a form of hazing too, which I'm not big on hazing. You can mess with people, have a little fun, but nothing that's pointless or is, you know, I don't know. There's too much of that, I think, these days.
How do you, as like an apprentice, like, how do you draw those boundaries? Because like I'm guessing your thirst or your will for wanting to become an artist is like a lot. So like really, like, how do you find your boundary? Like, oh, I'm not gonna do that, or do you just do whatever it takes? Like if they have some like
refusing
really
hazing or refusing a certain tattoo.
Like if they ask you to do something like crazy, that's not like if they're like, hey, can you go pick up both my dogs and then take them to the grooming salon and wait there, and then after they're done grooming, like basically just do like go pick up my dry cleaning and just stuff like that. Like, how do you know if it's legit stuff, or is it just any work for trade goes?
Well, you don't really have an option, I guess. Okay. I guess you could. It depends on the relationship between the apprentice and then
but that's okay though. Like you can be asked stuff like that. Like, okay, say
there's really no rules. That's what's nice and sketchy about it. A lot of people believe in strong gatekeeping with tattooing, and you know, which I agree, the only proper way is to get an apprenticeship. But there's a lot of extra stuff. There's not, from my experience, there's not really much of a game plan for most people who take on an apprentice. Some people do it because it looks good, or shop owners will do it because they want the free work. And they might have good intentions too. They really want to teach somebody, but yeah.
How long does an apprenticeship last?
Anywhere from 6 months. I don't really hear about that, but we'll just say that, to the longest I've heard of is like 5 years.
That's dedication.
Yeah.
And so then you do stuff for them during the day. When do you actually get to start learning the tattoo? Does the shop owner just like teach you like after the day they start showing you things, or?
So that's the problem, is that there's really no game plan. Like, so a lot of times the owner, they already accept or interview people and take an apprentice before they've even thought about a layout for how they're going to teach people and at what point they'll teach this or at what point they'll teach that. And some, what I think is a little bit better, I don't know, I'm not positive on how I feel about it, but some people will trade so you pay for the apprenticeship, which the positive side of that is that incentivizes the owner to not mess around with your time, to have set real goals, because then they know that they're going to get paid for the next round of whatever they're going to be teaching you.
So there's money.
Yeah. So if you have someone that comes in all bright-eyed, it's easy to just string them along for as long as you need. Or maybe you don't think about it, but they're thinking about it. They're thinking every day, like, oh, when are they going to tell me I get to start messing with a machine, or I get to start this or that? And it's easy to forget about it, or unfortunately it's easy to just string people along, I guess.
So it's kind of like a wild card now. Like, they may be able to teach you a couple of things here and there as you just kind of go through it, but there's no like set plan.
Well, they'll tell you a few things. Usually it's kind of like, okay, so here's what we're going to teach you now. So we're going to work on this, and as quickly as it's usually something along the lines of like, here's what we're working on now, and as quickly as you can get through this, and I feel like you've learned and practiced enough efficiently, then we'll move on to the next thing. But what does that really mean? So
it's like you're learning, but it's still kind of all on you to like really learn it. Which
that part does make sense. I get you want to. It's because if someone doesn't get something down and you just move on to the next thing, that's bad schooling right there. So.
Do you think the industry could benefit if, say, like a committee of tattoo artists got together and designed like an actual curriculum for like apprentices, like apprenticeship people? Do you think that would be good, or would it piss off like artists because now there's a whole program that they have to abide to versus whatever they were doing in the past?
A lot of people wouldn't do it. Are you saying like if it was set up created by tattooers and then made official, like enforced by like the government?
Yeah, like say it was like an actual like apprenticeship program, like tattoo artists, like a committee got together and they were like, you know what, we think this would be like a really functional program, like almost like if you were getting a degree of sorts, but it's just to teach you like the aspects of tattooing. Like, but do you think that would benefit the industry or hurt it? Or
people have tried. I mean, there's tattoo schools which are really pretty widely looked down upon.
Is it because it's a school, or?
Yeah, because it's not really with intent, and it's really too structured. And there's a lot of tattooing that's not like a gray area. I don't know the word to describe it, but there is tradition that goes into it, and you really need a one-on-one, hands-on type leadership type style, instruction. And plus a lot of artists just statistically have difficulty learning new things or staying focused or on track,
survive.
So that's another thing people don't think about is the type of people you're going to get in the doors if you're offering to teach someone to tattoo, So
do y'all get just randos sometimes?
Oh yeah, you get all kinds of people, or sometimes it's like a shop friend's brother that's been wanting to learn or something like that, or maybe it's a shop friend that's been hanging around and is sick of their job, And
is like one of the main requirements, like you probably should be able to draw, right?
Yes, you would think so, but unfortunately a lot of people just are like, oh, my friend Jeremy from high school used to be able to draw fruit really good, so let's hit him up if we can't find anybody, you just find random people. The way Texas has tattooing set up legally is really poor. There are states, I know there's other ones too, the one that comes to mind is Tennessee does a thing where, and I could be wrong, but on the specifics, but it's a 2-year apprenticeship program, and if you leave the shop that you're at a day before you finish, you have to start over if you go to a new shop.
So you have to like stay at the shop that you...
Yes. You have to complete a 2-year apprenticeship minimum at the shop that you start at. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I believe you have to, the individual tattoo artist is licensed. In Texas, you're not. It's just a shop has the license and every artist is covered under that, which is terrible.
That's kind of shady.
Oh, very shady.
Is that how you end up at those shops that sometimes have like questionable artists and you're like,
yes,
how are you in here?
Yes. You can in Texas, because of the way it's set up, you can legally get tattooed by somebody that you think is a professional because they work there, but they've never tattooed in their life.
That's really scary.
Yeah, dude.
So like, is that when you ask them for their portfolio?
Yeah. Nowadays, everybody kind of sees your stuff online. You rarely see like physical books in shops anymore, but you still see them.
Okay. And if they haven't tattooed much, then they're probably going to tell you like, oh, I don't really have a portfolio.
Well, if you walk into a shop, people just assume, rightfully so, that whoever works here like surely knows what they're doing and is a professional and has done this before. Yeah. It's rare that they wouldn't, I took it to the extreme that they've never done a tattoo before. But in that scenario, say that would be like an apprentice got fed up with where they were at. They left, they opened their own shop, and then they're like, my buddy Jeremy from high school, he could kind of draw that kind of thing I was saying. They just find someone that they know is a good artist because they probably can't find any tattooers that are willing to follow them in their mutiny,
Yeah, it's
so
like chaotic.
They can open a shop. They've still never even finished their apprenticeship. They'll open a shop because they think they got the hang of it. They know enough. And then they just bring in some of their friends to run it because it's cool,
That's
and
terrifying.
Then that person, they're like, yeah, I'll teach you. And they didn't even finish their own training.
That's scary. So you could literally be in like an entire shop of people who sort of know how to tattoo.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
That's scary. Well, I'm glad we know you because like I'm not trying to go to another shop now and get like surprised by somebody that doesn't know how to tattoo.
Yeah,
because that's scary. Like, does that lead to like a lot of like infections or
I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. Yeah, stuff? I mean, I've never worked at one of those shops, I'd like to think. So
have you ever like inquired in one and got that vibe and you're like, you know what, just kidding, I don't want to work here?
Yes, there was a shop that I won't say the name of, but a buddy of mine and I've been tattooing maybe 2 years, and just all the stuff we'd heard about it. So we decided to go because it was only like 30 minutes from where I lived at the time. Mm-hmm. And we popped in and just acted like clients, like we didn't know what we wanted. And the way that they did it there was they just rent out, it was booth rent, but it was like a space for like 20 people or more. And then like but it's not like your booth. You pay a certain amount a month and you get that booth on Tuesday from 7 to 11. So it's like people cycling through all the time. You never know who's going to be in there. And then we looked at a few people's portfolios, and pretty much all of them had like fake. It'd be like 3 terrible tattoos and then like an incredible tattoo. And what people don't realize is a lot of these really good tattoos, as a tattooer, they get spread through social media. We've probably already seen them. Mm-hmm. So then I was asking him about that. I was like, dang, man, you did this. Oh, how long did this one take? And it's just like kind of no real information.
Way.
Yeah,
dude, that is so sketchy. If you guys are gonna go out and get tattoos, like please do some research and like really look at those portfolios, because otherwise you're gonna end up with like a scratcher tattoo, or you're gonna get like an infection.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna have to get it removed, which probably hurts. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not worth fun. It. Just go to Colin.
Yeah, just come to me.
He'll take care of you, and you won't walk out with a sketchy tattoo. Okay, so you're a tattoo artist and you're a graphic designer and shoe customizer. Tell me a little bit about those others.
So graphic design I got into maybe 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. I'd always kind of wanted to do it just after tattooing for so long. I just wanted something else. You just want other things, other hobbies. And I've been working on my iPad already, so I figured I'm already pretty well set up to just start taking some small projects. Mm-hmm. But I didn't advertise or anything like that. I kind of just took on things that people had already been asking me about anyway. I started working with a guy named Nigel from anybody who's familiar, a channel on YouTube called Braille. Can I mention channels? Mm-hmm. So a big skateboarding channel on YouTube called Braille Skateboarding. Nigel was a part of the team at the time, still kind of is, but he posted that he was starting a skateboard company looking for graphic designers. So I just took a chance and shot him a message, and he hit me back. And then we just made skateboards for him. So what I'm getting at is I preferred to work with one company and continue working for them, because then I feel like the products you get kind of develop over time, and they're all
like
cohesive. Yeah. Consistent. Yeah. Rather than trying to find new clients all the time. But with graphic design, I'm really not messing with too much anymore. It just takes up a lot of time. Lately, I've just been trying to focus on pruning the things out of my life that take up too much time.
Customization?
Yeah, I really want to. But I just really quickly can move from being focused on work and the important things to this new little hobby and just stop focusing on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
While I'm doing the important stuff, all I can think about is the little new hobby. So I'm trying to find some self-control like an adult.
Yeah. No, that's smart. And I was going to ask you, how do these different mediums that you've explored, how do they inspire your creative process? And now I know that you said that it's helped you realize that you kind of need to narrow down your hobbies. Has it affected your creative process in any other way? Like things that you've learned about yourself by doing graphic design and tattoos and shoes?
Say the beginning of the question again.
Like, how has this like affected your creative process? Like things that you've learned about yourself to make you like more productive.
Just creating an environment for myself where I can succeed or not stress. Really, it all comes down to planning. I think probably everyone needs to plan a little bit, obviously, but I benefit most whenever I'm as structured and as scheduled as possible. I try. Meredith and I have been doing this together lately, but I try and schedule every hour of every day, or at least schedule out all the things that need to be done throughout the week or the month.
No, it's like super smart. I think we could all benefit if we did that.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have a apparel brand, right? Cloak Limited.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's the story with that and how'd that come out to be?
So how did that come out to be? Excuse me. So I started screen printing with a buddy of mine, and shout out to Wesley. So we started doing that in my house, and I just wanted to have a little, if we were going to be doing it. At the time, we didn't know what it was going to become. It was really kind of just for the fun and just for us to do it, print our own stuff. And so I just wanted to come up with a logo for that. It wasn't really to be super serious or push or advertise a brand or anything. So I sold at the shop I was at the time. I sold those. I had a little rack that I put up and I sold those shirts. And then we did a few shirts for some friends that have businesses that are local around here too. And then when I want to go in the right order. So when I was still working at that same shop, I was in Deep Ellum. My buddy Wesley, he's all kinds of talented. I mean, he's like a musician. He knows everything. What we're doing together, his interest in that are vintage clothing. He can tell you anything about clothing. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
So he was at a store doing some shopping, and then he came across the building we're in now, and they had some units available. And so him and our buddy Chris was with him, reached out to me or popped by the shop or something and was like, dude, we just came across this really cool spot. If we were to, we had kind of joked about having a store or something like that one day. We didn't know what it would be, but we just talked about it. And so I went by and looked at it and was like, this is really cool. And it was an affordable rate, and it was like not too serious. We had a lot of room for failure, and neither one of us at the time needed any foot traffic. And the unit we were in was like inside the building. So you really weren't going to get any foot traffic or walk-ins. So we did that, and the original intention was we were going to have Wesley's part of this. We put up walls. Wesley would do his vintage clothing. His girlfriend we made a little room for her to do eyelashes and stuff like that. Okay. And then in the back room, it was just going to be the t-shirt printing machine, and we were going to still do all that. But then it slowly became I changed it. It was going to be more of like an art studio, that's what it was. It was going to be an art studio where we also had the printing machine. And then we just didn't get to it much. And I was doing shoes here and there, but I never got to really build out my space. It was always just storage and stuff and clutter. And so we got the opportunity to get the unit across the hall with a real storefront. And that's when I started pushing Cloak and made an Instagram and changed the idea from it being my studio to like a little skate shop. I kind of called the theme for it was kind of a skate shop for the skate shop. So I would sell merch that I thought was cool from a lot of popular brands like Vans and stuff like that, but that were more rare things you couldn't find other places. And everything we had for sale was at minimum 20% less than like average retail price.
Nice. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So does Cloak mean anything, or is that just like, because you said it wasn't like super serious, is that just something that y'all made up, or what does the name have a significance?
So yeah, Cloak was, I should have a really good answer for this, just nailed down like a mission statement, you know. But Cloak was, I'm a big Harry Potter fan, so a little bit of Harry Potter in there with the invisibility cloak, I guess. And the main thing was, I knew it was going to be, whatever Cloak became would be a mixture of all the different things I do. So I thought Cloak, you know, it's kind of
like under
a blanket, under the cloak of this business.
No hate to anyone, but I have to confess, like, I cannot stand Harry Potter. I know. And trust me, like, I have tried so hard to get into it.
Yeah.
Like, I've tried to watch the movies, like, and it doesn't make sense because, like, I love, like, D&D. You know, I like Magic, The Gathering. Like, I like things of that nature. You know, I mean, I got into Twilight. I even got into Twilight. Wow. And now that I watch the movies, I'm like, these are really, really bad. Like, really corny. I don't know why I can't get into Harry Potter.
Well,
what is it that I'm missing?
We all have flaws.
Oh,
you know, shit. We all have flaws. So some things we can't change about ourselves.
Okay, what is it that you really like about Harry Potter? Because
it's nostalgic. I remember when the books came out, I was in 3rd grade, and our librarian, we had this time of the day where we would go to the library, and the librarian would read a book to us, a certain book that week or month or however long it took, I guess. And so she was stoked about these new books. And so I guess just the first one at the time. And she started reading them to us. And then, of course, maybe, I can't remember how long, but we didn't get through the whole book before parents were kind of freaking out about it and all that stuff. And so she had to stop reading it to us. But we were all hooked. So it's the only book I can ever remember really that I, as a kid, legitimately got into and like read.
It's because you were told no, maybe?
No, because we were all into it before they were like, oh, don't read those to the kids, you know?
Huh.
And I think we still had them in the library. They just didn't want to be pushing it too much, I guess.
Okay. All right. Well, y'all can tell me in the comments why I'm wrong for not liking Harry Potter. And maybe y'all can give me maybe tell me like something why I should watch Harry Potter. Actually, yeah, tell me in the comments like why I should watch Harry Potter. Because maybe I feel like I haven't given it like an honest shot, and I haven't seen it as an adult. So maybe I'll catch something now that like I wouldn't have understood otherwise. So tell me in the comments, guys.
It's worth a real shot. It's worth a real shot. Let her know.
HP in the house.
Yeah. Dude, You're missing out.
So you're about to take the leap into entrepreneurship by opening up Cloak Collective. Can you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to create a creative space that not only houses your tattoo shop and apparel, but also provides leasing opportunities for other creatives?
What was the question?
ADHD. Yeah. We're going to talk about that one. Okay, so you're about to take the leap into being an entrepreneur by opening up the Cloak Collective.
Yes.
Basically, like, it's going to also house your tattoo shop as well as spaces for other artists. Can you tell us a little bit about what that will be?
Yes. So the goal of Cloak Collective will be to be a place for not just tattooers, but other types of artists too. Essentially a place where different types of artists at different skill levels can come and hang out and work, get stuff done.
Is it just artists or just entrepreneurs in general?
We're going to kind of let it be what it wants to be because we have a decent amount of spaces. The tattoo part will be the tattoo part. It'll be a bullpen area with like half walls, pony walls. But the private rooms, I mean, one of them will offer as a tattoo space, maybe more if we need to. But ideally, I'd like to have different types of artists. You know, an artist is whatever you think it might be. I mean, it's someone who is just a hobbyist at their house that just makes beaded bracelets to someone who's a professional painter, you know. So I'm not really going to be too picky about the person. It's really about finding not the best team, but more like the right team.
So it's like they can come and lease a space at your space, basically, to kind of have like maybe a little office away from home or like a little storefront, like that type of opportunity.
Yeah. So we'll have private rooms. That'll be a little bit more space with storage and a counter, and that pretty flexible as far as what you can do with it. We'll have enough in there to give you some perks, the storage and the some workspace, but we're hoping we can do it in a way where the tables will fold up against the wall just in case they don't even need a table, but we'll see what we can afford, really. So what was the question just now?
So like when can we expect to see the space open?
Well, supposedly in August, it's 2023, so August 2023, but we pretty much confirmed that construction won't be done by then. So hopefully by the end of the year, though, before next year.
That seems pretty realistic. Are you gonna do like a little opener event?
Yeah,
like
I want to do a grand opening.
Like grand opening event, so people can kind of like. Are you hoping to have it all leased out by then?
That would be in a perfect world. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
So what are kind of the requirements like for someone that would be looking to lease a space there? Like obviously have the funds, like be financially responsible to be able to pay for it. But you said you're not like super picky on the artist type.
Right. Not picky on the type of artist.
So all skill levels
age,
are cool.
Sex, anything like that. I mean, yeah, anybody is fine. Anybody who wants a space. Really, as long as they feel like it's a good fit for them. We just want to be honest in everything we're offering and all the utility or the perks and utilities, everything that's included, So I just want to provide people with a good space where they can feel comfortable. Yeah. Hopefully by the end of the year. We'll see. I'm really not in any rush because I just want it to be done right.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And it's in Carrollton, right?
Duncanville.
Why do I keep thinking I was in Carrollton? I went live that day and I'm like, hey, I'm in Carrollton. Like, why did I think it was Carrollton?
Yeah.
I lied. I lied to the people on my live. I was in Duncanville. And I had a friend, she's like, I'm in Carrollton. And I'm like, oh, cool. She told me where she was, like, off the tollway. And I'm like, well, I don't really know where I am, but that sounds right. That.
Yeah.
JK, so I was in Duncanville.
Yep. You're in Duncanville.
Okay, and I was lying on life. Perfect. Okay, so how do you envision Cloak Collective benefiting the local creative community?
The people that we will get will hopefully be that local. I mean, that's what we're going to get is local artists or entrepreneurs, anybody that needs an office space or a workspace, really, that's somewhat creative, ideally. I mean, I think it'll work itself out. I mean, I'm not going to be picky on who's in there, but I wouldn't be too stoked on having like someone who sells insurance, next to like,
like life insurance.
Yeah. But I also don't think that person would be interested. And so during the interview, we'll probably have a short application online, and then we'll do a meeting in person and just see if we're the right fit, if we're going to get along, if you're going to get along with the team that's already there. And, there's not really, I have certain requirements, I guess, but nothing it really depends on the person.
How are you hoping that them being in your space will benefit them? Like, what are you hoping to provide?
Well, hoping the environment that's created by all this will kind of be like a little bit of a clubhouse, for people who are creative. I mean, we're going to be reasonably lenient with people having their friends around and stuff, as long as everyone's respectful of anyone who's working and being respectful with, just not being too loud or obnoxious in the shop. So
you're like offering them basically like an opportunity to build like a community or be a part of a community of like-minded people. Yeah,
they'll be in a place where there's going to be different types of artistry going on, that people that are different skill levels. So they'll have the opportunity to collaborate with these artists if they'd like to, or to learn from them. And maybe they even discover that they have different passions than they started out with.
No, that is really cool. I love the idea of being in a community where you can explore different collaboration opportunities. Because like, what if, like you're a designer and someone there is doing like jewelry and you're like, wait a minute, maybe we could like design some jewelry together, like that'd be kind of cool, kind of like help you venture out, get out of your own lane where you just might be too comfortable or something. That's pretty cool. What is the importance of collaboration and community in your own personal journey?
The importance of what was it?
Collaboration and community.
I think it's pretty important. I think you get burnt out without having a community kind of. It's hard to keep yourself going all the time. Or to find it's easier to find inspiration when you're around people doing something similar or just something creative that you appreciate. It's easier to find inspiration that way.
Okay, so I know this word gets thrown out around a lot, and some people have like a different meaning of it. What does a collaboration mean to you? I'm just curious because I see the word collaboration used a lot, and I know there's a lot of strong opinions on the internets. So what to you specifically, how would you describe a collaboration?
Two people working together.
Is there like a mutual benefit, or is it still a collaboration if only one person benefits? I guess that's where I'm getting at, because some people, okay, like for photographers, for instance, sometimes people will be like, hey, let's collab, but they're not a model. They're not at all in the creative community. And to them, a collab is like getting a free shoot out of a photographer. So it's like, yeah, I'll bring myself and you can photograph me. It's a collab. So it's like, do you have any certain like requirements for an official collab, or do you ever get people like that just are bringing nothing of value, but they want to collab?
Well, so to answer that question, I think the collaboration is the work, not the cost, you know, so that the act of doing the work together in whatever way is the collaboration. Whoever benefits in whatever way is a different story. But
there is implied that the other person is doing some kind of work.
Yeah, I mean, you got to believe that both people or both entities agreed to the terms and what, if it's a handshake deal or if it's legal in a contract. I mean, you got if you don't know, if you didn't do the research to know at least what you're going to actually get out of this deal, then it's kind of on you. I know a lot of people do get taken advantage of, or a lot of people, the big thing is not trading fairly through finances and paying somebody, but telling someone, oh, we'll give you notoriety, or we'll give you a shout out,
exposure.
Or whatever. And it does most of the time it does nothing.
Yeah,
I feel like. I'm
sure you get that a lot as like a tattoo artist.
Well, with the shoes, I've had pages that have tens of millions of followers post the shoes, and then I get like 12 followers from it.
Tell me about the shoes a little bit. Like, do people just come find you and they're like, hey man, I got this like awesome pair of shoes, I would love if you like customize them, and then you just do it?
No, so kinda, that's what it was. I mean, it was always just fun for me, so I didn't really ever take orders. I would create stuff that I wanted to make, and I was really trying with the shoes to keep that balance of not getting to where I'm like, oh, I can make money off this, but just keep enjoying it. Because kind of the way I got into it was being invited to be part of an art show, which right away made it kind of about that. So I try to just take my time, but I never really took a custom order. I would just make the designs I wanted, and then I would offer that design. So if you wanted that, you tell me what design you like, what size, and then we talk pay and all that stuff after that. And then they're painted to order. Okay. But ideally I figured out I could paint about 3 to 5 pairs of shoes in the time it takes to do one, for the most part, if I'm really efficient. And I kind of worked out a little system. So once I figured that out, unfortunately, that's right about when I had to kind of take a break on everything. But I'd like to sit and make a design and then do like 10 pairs or whatever I can handle at the time, make of the most popular sizes for guys and girls, and then just offer those. That way I don't have to
like do custom,
because really with my not hobbies, but I mean, I make money off of them, but tattooing's my main thing. So with the other things, I really got to be careful not to get too into it. So the fewer strings attached, the better. So with the shoes, I really try to make it where I'm not wasting any time with people's critiques or revisions or anything. It's just I'm making what I like, and you can buy it or you don't have to.
So you're still going to do shoes. You're just going to have like your designs that you've made, and then if people like them, they can buy them. That's actually smart. I think it is better than like working with a person, because sometimes people, you know, even me as a designer, sometimes people have these like ideas and you're just like, that's never going to work, but they're very like adamant about it and they don't want to take no for an answer. I can imagine people are probably like that with shoes.
Yeah.
Like they want something crazy.
And tattoos, yeah.
Unrealistic. Yeah, I can imagine tattoos. Do you ever get people that have like outrageous tattoo demands that you're like...
all the time.
Yeah?
But most people, if you're a kind person, you can convince them what looks best, really.
Have you ever had a person that just was like an awful like client as far as like they wouldn't listen to your input or complain the entire time like that they were getting their tattoo?
Well, by the time we get to the tattoo, I've kind of figured out that person. And if it's the kind of person where I'm going to really be like, we're not going to work well together, then I get to that point before that. It's during the consultation or the emails or messages back and forth.
How do you tell them? Like,
I just tell them, that it depends on the person really in this
like
scenario.
You get anxiety?
But no, I used to, but now it's just, I get more anxiety when I don't tell them. And I take the job on. It's usually because it's a friend or it was a trade. And so it's something I didn't really want to do, but I was like, for them, I will. And then your friends are always usually your worst clients or your family.
Yeah, it can happen.
So the people that are the most familiar with you just don't see you the least as a professional. They'll have respect for you and all that, but it's just, they're still your friends. But you're
their homie.
Yeah. So they just feel comfortable saying certain things or asking certain things that other people wouldn't in a professional setting.
I know there's like actual like artists and professionals who actually won't do work with like family and friends, and they're like very like no.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, and I don't know, like I wonder if that's like a benefit, or does it make you come off like, damn, like Colin's changed, like he won't, like I wonder how people take that. But yeah, I mean. It's probably easy that way because then you don't have to like tell anybody yourself. You just put it out there like, yeah, I don't do work for family or friends. I don't think anyone's going to like ask you, right?
Yeah, you probably wouldn't advertise that part. Word would you only have to tell one or two friends or family no, and then the word would spread pretty quick. Else. Yeah. But if you put that on your page, it's like married, tattoo experience this many years. Don't message me if you're a friend or family. It's not a good look, dude.
It'll make you like the Scrooge of tattoo artists. Yeah. I wonder how the people that are like that openly advertise that. Do you think it's just like they're rich and just have buku money and they don't care if you like them or hate them or?
Yeah, I think so. It's easy once you have the clientele to quickly forget how quickly you can lose it. Yeah. And our clientele is everything we have, really.
Yeah, so you want to be nice, especially the homies. Yeah. But they also should understand like. Don't try to take advantage of your artistic friends because that's just wrong. There's a line. You should, stay behind it.
Yeah, it's not too. It's gotten easier over time, and if it's in person, it's even easier. But as you gain experience, as you do that a few times, you tell people no. The moment you're done with that conversation, all that weight is lifted off your shoulders, or all the weight you felt was about to rest on your shoulders doesn't. You're like, God, that was the right decision. I don't know why I was stressing so much. And if you're not a jerk, they probably didn't walk away upset. They probably walked away with something that's going to be better for them and you. But the benefit of how that feels, it makes it so much easier to say no the next time if it's something that's not for you or you're not ready for it.
That's so hard for me. Like I have a really hard time, especially if we're like friends. So I've taken on work before from like friends while I was already like swamped with work. And it is true. Like it just made me so much more anxious. And then I thought, man, I'm a lot more anxious than if I would have just told them. Like, no, but like, not like, no, I won't do it. But like, hey, I have a lot going on right now. I can't do it right now. Maybe later. But even that was so like anxiety inducing for me. Even typing it, I'll be like sweating and shaking on the keyboard. And then like, I'll have a hard time. It reminds me of when I quit my like corporate job. That day that I sent that email, I literally had like a panic attack right before I sent it, and I was so scared and my heart was beating. I could hear my heart in my ears, like the yeah, that was one of the most terrifying days of my life. And that's how it feels when I have to tell people no. So it's like, I don't know how you get to the point. Like that guy was extreme, like I don't do family or friends, but like I guess I just don't know how to just tell people no. It's hard for me.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing. It's just saying no is hard in general.
Yeah, no, it's hard.
Especially if you are a people person or you want to make people happy.
Yeah, that's me. I'm a type 2
Some
personality.
people just don't care. They really just don't care.
And and we think that they're bad for not caring, but like
sometimes I'm envious of that.
Yeah, me too, because I'm like, are they really evil or are we just two in our feels? Because it's like, I don't think that they're being jerks. They just don't want to do it. And they tell you straight up that they don't want to do it. And then they go on about their day, but then you're in your feels, you know, like we're the only ones being affected by it, not them. So I'm like, how do they, like their anxiety level must be like next to non-existent. Like they're just out here literally doing whatever they want in life because they can say no whenever they want to. But when you can't say no or you have a hard time with it, I feel like you end up tangled up in these like favors or like things that sometimes you don't want to do because but then you have the anxiety while you're doing it versus if you would have just said no from the beginning. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Okay, so with all of this in mind, I'm guessing that you have a lot going on all the time. How do you like balance your work life? How do you disconnect sometimes from this? I know you mentioned that you've figured out your calendar and like you have to plan out your day basically, but yeah, like how do you do Colin when you're doing all these things at one time?
Yeah, the scheduling, the real answer is not easily. I feel like, very carefully. No, the scheduling, I have to stay on top of it, and I have to schedule when I'm going to schedule these things. It's crazy. It doesn't make sense because all I do is write it down. 10:30, do this. It'll say chore. You know, have to write down, do something around the house before you just leave for the day. You know, so I have a few things, and just all I do is write it down, and then I'll get up in the morning and I'll do it. But not writing it down,
then you don't do it.
I'll just wake up and be like, well, I'll just linger until time to go, you know, like, so just, it doesn't make sense, but it's that satisfaction. It's what it is a little dopamine rush of accomplishing something.
Yeah,
you know?
That's exactly.
So knowing that I get to just go check that box off whenever I do this thing makes it worth it.
Okay. See, that makes me feel better because I have ADHD and for a while I was super disorganized. I didn't get diagnosed till I was like 32 or 33 and I'm about to be 36. So it's only been a couple of years that I've known that I'm ADHD, but I struggled with staying on task and things like that. And my therapist recommended that I keep a calendar, kind of like how you said. So I bought a planner and it was stupid because then I had to schedule a time to schedule shit, you know, and I'm like, how can I schedule a time when I suck at scheduling? But nonetheless, I gave it a shot and every morning I would start, you know, trying to map out like the week. And then I decided it was just easier to just do the whole freaking month and put all the bills and everything is on my calendar, like appointments, bills, projects, everything. And I do the time too, like the time. And then I've noticed that in the beginning, I would skip things here and there. But then I started getting like anxious about like there's this checkbox on my calendar that might not get checked off if I don't do this shit. So then I started getting anxiety and it kind of put a little fire under my butt. Like I have to do this so I can check it off. So yeah, it's so true. Just, I don't know what it is. The idea of it's this little box that you can check off and get that dopamine rush. Like, yeah, you know, and you check it off and you feel so accomplished. You're like, yeah, I went to the post office, check. But it's not even like a huge thing. It's just, you did it, you know? So that's good to know that like, you're able to get organized by having a calendar. So you would say like that's really made a change in your life. Yeah,
that makes a big change. The problem is just sticking with it. Any of these little things at the core of all of them, it's going to require a little bit of work.
Okay. So now that we're on the topic of ADHD, you're also ADHD. Okay. How has this ADHD affected your life as a creative?
In good ways and bad ways.
Yeah.
ADHD is the same as anybody with ADHD. It makes things hard to. It can make it hard to focus or accomplish long-term goals. Really, So it's easy to, as a result of that, it's easy to kind of stay stagnant or not progress. For example, like, so I'd say I've done a bunch of small paintings or tattoos, quick little designs. You get that satisfaction because it's one shot done essentially, but it's hard for me to, it's easy for me to put off doing larger things because it's so much extra work and it's going to take so much longer. And you kind of just know yourself. It's just like you'll get burnt out, you know?
Yeah.
So ADHD kind of makes that harder. Just tasks, little things, everyday life, a lot. But I mean, it affects a lot of stuff because I mean, everything you do is a decision. So I would say mainly with my career, it affects me in that and focus, I guess.
Focus.
Yeah.
That's a big one for me.
Or like endurance. It's easy to get burnt out. Like most people have experienced, you know, like if you wake up in the day, you do something right away. The rest of the day is you kind of keep the ball rolling. But with ADHD, I read somewhere that neurotypical people without ADHD, and I'm no doctor, but it helped me make sense of things and understand myself more, that people with ADHD, or I'm sorry, normal people,
normies.
Yeah, normal people. When it comes to doing a task, they get the dopamine before, just from the just thinking about the satisfaction of doing it, accomplishing it, gives them that dopamine beforehand to give them the incentive to actually get up and do it. People with ADHD, the way our brains work, we can't receive it before. So it's really difficult, or you got to trick yourself with little checklists, and giving yourself the reward system is essentially what it is.
So we're like the Pavlov method with like the dog.
Yes.
When they ring the bell and he learned to recognize that he would get a treat. That's like literally our brain.
Yeah. But it's important to, know these things. It's because it's so easy to just think, I should be able to do all these things the way a normal person would do them. Yeah. And I won't settle for doing it any of these weird trickery ways. I need to be able to do it the normal way, person. Or I don't feel good about it, But knowing that it's not just, it's a chemical thing,
I think that's what was the hardest for me, because before I knew I had ADHD, I was just always frustrated with myself because, for instance, I'm not a morning person. Like, I can't jump out of bed and just tackle the day. Like, when I wake up, I literally stay just laying down for like another 30 minutes, just dreading that I even have to get up. And I'm like, okay, so I have to do this at 5 today, which means I have 1 hour to do this, and then I have 45 minutes to do that. And if I don't do it in that time, then I'm not going to be ready by this hour. So I'm already thinking, because I have to do the math. Otherwise, I'm not going to get it. I have to know exactly how much time I have allotted for every activity. And then I'm sitting there thinking about all this stuff, and I'm already exhausted. And I'm like, so I have to do all this stuff. And I used to get mad at myself, and I'm like, am I just like lazy? Is there something wrong with me? Like, why can't I just wake up and be like, yeah, we're going to do like all this and this and this today, and I'm going to love it? Because for me, I have to pep myself like every morning, a little pep talk. And I'm like, okay, Missy, we're waking up today. We're going to do this, this, and that. And like, for instance, me, I have to play music in the morning. It's the only way that I can find the motivation to get up and brush my teeth and wash my face and do all that crap that I have to do, as I basically have to have like a little rave party in my room. Like, I don't know if you're a morning person or if you have a similar struggle with that.
I do.
Okay. Is it similar? Do you find that music helps?
For me, it's TV.
TV. Okay.
It's a show that I've seen a lot that I can just hear. I don't have to focus on it or watch it really. Yes.
Do you love familiar sitcoms or just shows?
Yes.
Because I feel like I watch the same thing all the time, but I find a lot of comfort in it.
I do too.
Yeah. And I don't get tired of it.
Especially if I'm doing something else. Because I
like, you're not
thrive on
doing,
I need to be doing, because of ADHD, more than one thing at a time usually.
Okay.
It's harder for me to focus, to put all my focus and attention. Like when you read something 30 times and you're like, why am I not absorbing it? It's like that,
Yeah. That would happen to me in school too. And I used to think I was dumb because like I would read a paragraph or something and it just wouldn't click. And then I realized that I couldn't just learn in school. Like, I was an honor roll student for sure, but it took a lot of effort, because when I went home, I would literally have to reread the entire chapter because I couldn't learn. The teacher would like make everyone read a paragraph. I was not picking up anything because I was like daydreaming and doodling and thinking about like lunch or hanging out with my friends, and it just was not clicking because, you know, ADD, you're just like, ooh, like, oh, that would be fun. So when I went home, I would have to like read everything and read it a million times, and then I could get it. And then I would have to write it down too. So I have to see it, hear it, and write it in order for it to just cement in my brain. Otherwise, it's like, nope, not important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you like that too? Or does listening or writing or any other thing help you more than the other?
Yeah. Listening, writing helps, but yeah, listening to things, I'd say probably listening to things, videos. I learn best from visual and physical, you know.
Are you a doer? Like if someone's teaching you something, do you have to be able to like do it yourself while they're teaching you to do it, or can you watch them and then do it? I feel like I have to follow along.
Yeah, I can do both, I think, but I would prefer to do it along with them.
Yeah.
Especially if it's something a task that requires more than 2 or 3 steps, like I'll probably forget it, you know?
Yeah, that's probably where I'm at. Okay, so kind of moving on from that, but still on topic. Has ADHD affected your artistic style or the way you approach your creative projects?
Not really my style. Like I don't do my artwork. My ADHD isn't like included in the ideas behind what I create. But as far as how,
like your
yes,
process.
I would say I have to structure my process around it.
Are you like those people that does projects early?
No. Well, I'm trying to be. Not naturally. I mean, who is, I guess, right? But I try to be, and I've been getting better about it. Starting projects when I have more time, just because then I do a better job. So just being relaxed, having the time to do something turns out means you'll be pretty relaxed and you do a better job. Who knew? Like it's so procrastinating. There's a whole science behind that too. Just putting it all, because internally I know in the minimum amount of time, or what's the minimum amount of time I can do or I need to get this done, and I'll wait, you know?
Yeah.
So stupid. But yeah, how I get things done, I definitely have to plan around that. I have to plan, for instance, like I can't sit down and work on a painting or something or shoes for more than a couple hours. I have to when I'm locked in and like hyper focused, I can, but at that point I still need to force myself to take a break to do something else. So what I've been trying lately that I saw in a YouTube video, for people with ADHD, is getting a timer of some sort. And this video in particular said, do 25 minutes, set a timer 25 minutes for your time that you're going to work. And then when the timer goes off, 5 minutes of whatever you want to do. So you get that reward. And that's been working pretty well.
Yeah. So
most of the time I just skip it, you know.
Oh shit.
But
I feel like I always wait till like the very end. And then I get I think it's the adrenaline or the fear or something that I'm not going to get it done. And I just get crazy energy, and I'll like knock out the project in like, even with enough time sometimes. But I feel like it's some of my best work, because I've done projects before where I've started early, and I don't know, maybe it was because I didn't have that pressure or something, or I had so much time. And I mean, it was still good, but I just didn't get that same maybe it was the satisfaction or the dopamine or something, because when I wait and then I'm rushing and I get hyper focused, like I don't eat, I don't even pee, I don't take a break, like I'm just in it 100%, and I'm just like a crazy mad woman at my computer. When I finish, I feel like a triathlon or something. Like I'm like, hell yeah, I did that, I'm done, and I feel so good. And then when I try to do it like a responsible adult early, you know, like phase it out, it's just not, I don't know, it doesn't give me that same, like, I don't know.
Is that true though? Are you saying, because I wonder when you say like you get more out of it when you do it the other, you like the work better.
The chaotic way.
The chaotic way. Is it because you're doing it the chaotic way like 99% of the time? So of course most of your best work will be or do you really try? Do you like try and set time to do things early?
I do. I really do give it an honest shot. And I've tried the timer. I just put it in my phone.
Yeah.
And I just can't, like, I can't focus. I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to set this timer for 10 minutes and I'm going to do this. I'm going to, like, whatever work I have to do. I realized I just ended up scrolling on my phone, or I needed to go pee and it just took the 10 minutes, or, oh, now I'm thirsty. And then I go down there, I'm like, oh, but there's dishes. Like, I got to wash these before I go up. And I just do everything but that. And then the end of the night will hit and I'm like, dang it, I didn't do anything. I'm a piece of crap. I suck at life. Tomorrow. And I'll just repeat that until the day whatever is due. I wake up that morning early because I have anxiety. It's the only time I can get up early, and I'll force myself to get up early. And then I have to do it because I know I can't, mess around anymore. And then I'll just work for like 12 hours straight plus, not eat or anything. And then like finally at night at like 10 p.m. or whatever, I'll just finish it. And it'll be so good.
Are you having fun while you're doing it that way?
Yeah. Like, it's weird. It's like, because I feel so inspired, and I think it's because I know I'm like on a time crunch, and so there's no other option, but I actually feel good. Like, I feel like I've never done like crack before, but I'm guessing what being on crack feels like, because I'm like, like jittery, and I'm just like crushing it, and all the ideas are there.
Hyper focused. Everything's just working.
Everything just works, and I'll have my best ideas. I can write like the best captions. Just everything is so much better and like amplified, and I'm able to do it so fast because I'm focused.
Yeah.
And then when I finish, I'm telling you, it feels like I ran a marathon or something, and it's so gratifying. And then I'm done, and then I'll send it to the client or whoever, and then they freaking love it, and I'm like, hell yeah. But when I've done it early, I'll send it back to the client, and then they'll be like, oh, I feel like we can go in another direction or something, So I'm like, I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just addicted to that. Like you were saying, maybe it's like an addiction or something.
I think you've just found the way, you've subconsciously just found your own system of how you work best.
Yeah.
You just would have to.
But it feels so wrong.
Well, that's the thing. That you accept how you do it, what works for you, and just tweak that. So for me, I would like, the scheduling when those times is what I would have to do. As far as when you sit just to get yourself to do it, having it on the schedule, that's what would make me do it. But then when the time comes, actually having that timer and being anything that takes 2 minutes or less, a distraction wise, just get it done beforehand, because it's what you're going to be thinking about. It's going to be pulling your attention away. Just get that done. All the little excuses, little chore things, and then starting the timer is really what that you have to do nothing but work in that time. But yeah, it seems like you've already found your own system of what works for you. It's not really it's not controlled.
It's just like not acceptable in society, I feel like, because sometimes people get the impression that because I did it in a certain time period, or rushing, if you will, that maybe it's not my best work. But for some reason, that's my best work. And, even when I was a kid, I would literally wait till like the day before my project was due to do it. And my mom would watch me. I'd be up at midnight, and if I didn't like something, I would destroy it completely. Yeah. Like when we built these cell models, I don't know if y'all did that in school. You had to build like a human cell and an animal cell.
No,
and
that sounds
what?
Cool.
And all the kids went out and bought like the little styrofoam balls and cut them in half to make like
literally a cell. Yes, yes.
Like a cell.
Yes.
Okay, so like for instance, if something was wrong with mine, I would trash the whole thing and start over. But it was all the night before. And usually my second try was the one. Like the first one was always trash. I already knew I would have to destroy it, so I always bought extra of everything for my projects. But yeah, I would do it the night before, and it would be so well and so great. And my mom she'd be like, it's 3 a.m, you need to go to bed. I'm like, I'm almost done. Yeah. Like on this huge rush, but it would be really good. And my teachers would be like, oh, this is great. I can tell you've been working on this for a long time. And I'd be like, gotcha. Yeah, but I can't. Even when I was a kid, I don't know. I really feel like there's something wrong with me. Like,
well, to be honest, the way your process you're describing is how I still do things 90% of the time. So I hate talking about this. Makes it seem like I have things under control. It's really, it's a struggle. I feel like I'm not, when you start a new, it has to become a habit,
Yeah.
And I still haven't gotten over that hump where I've done it perfectly long enough where it's just not hard anymore. But I just have found whenever I do make myself, when I set aside time to do things and I can enjoy it more, because it's like I want to be able to enjoy the process. And usually if I wait till the last second, I do still enjoy it. So I do agree with you on that, but I'll probably forget something because I overthink and I want it to be perfect, and thinking that way makes you think about everything included. That's most things things that aren't even necessary in the project you consider. And then of course you're going to forget some things, and then usually it's something that's actually important, but so I don't want to make it seem like that's how I do things, because I still do. And I agree. I'm almost all my best work is like that. And it's just what it takes for me to get into that mode where I can be focused and do my best work. And I would just like more time. So that's why I'm trying to structure it.
That's actually true. So, the calendar thing took me a little bit, and now it is a habit of mine. Like, now I can't function without my calendar. So maybe just like with the Harry Potter thing, maybe I just have to try to do certain projects, give it an honest shot. Like, I'm going to work for, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes at a time seems realistic just to get started, because if I try to say I'm going to work for an hour, I know it's not going to happen. I'm going to start curating a playlist because, I'm playing music and suddenly I'll hear a song. I'm like, wait, I need to add this to my playlist. The next thing I know, I'm curating my playlist, and I'm like, what am I doing? I'm supposed to be working, not curating my playlist. Yeah. And I just get so mad at myself. But I feel like all ADHD people are similar in that. And you know what the funniest irony of life is like, we're so chaotic and hard to focus and stuff, but we're all perfectionists. Like, how? Like, we'll wait till the last minute to do anything, but then we're going to be so just hard about it, and it has to be perfect. So I'm willing to start projects over and over until I get it right. Yeah. And I notice normal people will start a project and they're not feeling it, and they're like, well, I'm gonna go with it. And I'm like, I wish I could do that. I just wish I could be like you, because my life would be so much easier. Because if I'm not feeling it, I'm starting over. Yeah. Are you like that too?
Yeah, I'll have to start over. That's why I've been trying to schedule more, because man, there's nothing more stressful than knowing you need to start over, but you don't have time now. You cross that time threshold where as of now, if I have to start over, I better really like where I'm at now, because if I have to start over, I can't.
Yeah. I haven't experienced that yet. I've been lucky in my time crunches to like where I'm going with it. Yeah. I haven't had that. I don't want to jinx myself, but I haven't had that where I was doing it and it wasn't right, but I was already on a time crunch. I didn't have that issue. Yeah. So I'm kind of scared to ever hit that. Okay. So what are some challenges of managing a business while having ADHD, or how do you manage your business while having ADHD?
It makes it more difficult for sure. To staying on track, keeping everything categorized in your mind. It's so easy, I often just kind of push everything out, especially being ADHD and having my own, everything being on me. For anybody, that makes it more tricky, but with ADHD, it's even trickier, because really that's our coping mechanism, is we kind of just purposely forget things, not forget, but push it away until we have to deal with it. So I really got to face that often.
Is it like that with so when I say business too, I mean your accounting, your taxes and all the
I kind of just slacked
paperwork
forever on all that until I had to pay the price from someone else's mistake. An old boss that I had years later, I had to end up having to pay back taxes from stuff he made mistakes on. But
do you have a CPA?
That's it. So now I have a CPA, I have a business attorney, and I have another guy, a buddy. We trade services. That he's not a CPA, but he's a for the company he works for, his family's company, they do a bunch of real estate and all that. He creates business plans and he approves or denies other people's stuff based on the quality of it.
Damn.
So he helped me with like in Microsoft Excel, add all the numbers in and create a financial business plan that's adjustable according to things happening, bad things happening or good things. So so the CPA, the attorney, the financial guy, video guy, got a video guy, media guy, high vis, of course, the wire only. So that's kind of what I was talking about.
Delegating it to the professional.
Yes, and all the books I've read, and I have a guy that's been mentoring me for a couple of years, but anything he's had me read, anything about that success, and people who have podcasts about it, it seems like the core thing it always comes back to is kind of what I was trying to talk about earlier, or that I mentioned earlier, is pruning out everything that you don't do best. Delegating that out. It's hard to, especially when you're a tattooer, because you see the costs. You're the one who has to pay the person to do a service or whatever, to do your social media or to do whatever, it's easier in a company if you have a financial guy who makes all your business decisions for you. It's out of sight, out of mind,
That's
true. It's scary to hire the people because you think, well, I'm losing money. I make more money. I'll just do all of it myself. I'm a perfectionist anyway, whatever. I don't want to be annoying and make them revise everything. But doing it has made a huge difference. I feel like I can actually accomplish the goals that I have. If I was still trying to do everything, I'd be so overwhelmed right now. And the store hasn't even opened. Construction's barely starting.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is I need a mentor. I need a business attorney and a CPA, and I already have the video guy. So I only have like one out of the 4 important things that you've mentioned.
Well, some people have more, some people have less.
I know. See, that's where I'm at right now.
CPA is a big thing.
With our business.
And depending on what you do, a business attorney. I got that because of the storefront and because of
That's so smart. Guys, I'm actually in need of a CPA. So if y'all know anybody, like a good one, because I'm not trying to have the IRS like come after me. If y'all know like a good CPA that you trust, please like recommend them in the comments, because like legit, your girl needs a CPA, because trust me, like I haven't had an issue with taxes yet, but now as like a business, it's in my, like I'm already thinking about like next year because ADHD, and I'm already freaking out. So if y'all know somebody, like share it, don't gatekeep, like help your girl out, because Colin's got it figured out over here, and you sound so cool and collected when you talk about it, and I'm over here like freaking out about my taxes like deep inside. And like, how do you get a mentor? Is it like a friend?
I just asked him. He's our landlord of the building, and when we switched our store to the storefront, it was in the same building, it was across the hall. I had a meeting with him about the lease and finances and stuff, and I had been around him. I don't remember how I encountered. I guess from when I sat and talked with him during the first lease, I kind of got a sense of his ethics and morals in business and had so much respect for it. And then the more I heard about the things he would do, one of the first things I heard him say was like, negotiate for the other person, especially when you have the advantage. And one thing he told me specifically was like, right away, I could have taken advantage of you. I could have set this up where you thought you were getting a good deal, but in the long run, you would have paid more. But eventually, you would have figured that out, and then how would you have felt about me? Anyway, I gained respect from him without really knowing him much. So then I asked him, I was like, I know this is weird, dude, but
will you be my mentor?
Do you offer mentorships?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, you want to meet on Wednesdays for a couple hours? I'm like, now? Like starting now? What do I pay you? He's like, no, you don't pay me. He's like, well, I'm so like, why would you? He's so busy. I'm like, you're going to really give me your, that's another thing. I was like, you have nothing to gain from me. Like you could shoo me off and be like, oh, here's what I read when I was your age, like, but for him to make time, so.
I need a mentor. Anybody want to be my mentor? But like a real one. Not like the sugar daddy DMs that I get. Like, you'll be my sugar. No, I want an actual mentor. Like, because I don't know where to find one. Like, I hear all successful people, they always mention they had a mentor. And I'm like, where do y'all find these people?
Yeah, it seems like everyone has a mentor and a therapist.
Yeah, I definitely have the therapist.
Yeah, I
but I don't have a mentor. So I'm just like out here not being mentored. I'm just like feral in this world right now. I need help, y'all. So like if you know a mentor too, like comment them, because I need all the help that I can get. I think you just
find someone who you like, and just, it doesn't matter who they are, just ask them.
And that's what they do, though. They just like talk to you for a little bit and kind of like,
I guess everyone's different. I guess
you.
He had kind of he's mentored a few people in certain ways, not as personal maybe as what we're doing. And another person he's mentoring right now, shout out Denise, sweet artist in Dallas.
Nice.
Yeah, I just asked him. And then recently, it wasn't a mentorship, but it was someone in the tattoo community who's, amongst tattooers, probably the most well-known guy. He's in the top 3. And even outside of the tattooer community, like he's been well-known as one of the best tattooers. And I just reached out. I was like, hey, I have this kind of a weird idea for a studio. I know you're real business savvy too. And minutes later, he was like, hey, I just noticed Instagram has this call feature. Can I call you real quick?
What?
Like, what, dude?
That's so cool.
And I was like, oh, I'm actually about to tattoo, and can I reach out when I'm done? Maybe if you have time. He was like, yeah, I got a couple hours. And then I won't go all into that. But yeah, my point is, it could be freaking Beyonce. You might hit her up, and then you never know. She might be like, actually, it just turns out I have time to mentor one more person. You hit me up at the right moment. Like, you never know.
Yeah.
I think you find someone who you genuinely want to be like.
Okay, so then, is there any advice that you have for ADHD individuals who are pursuing their own creative passions? Just any advice that will make their lives easier?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is learn about ADHD. You probably know a little bit about it if you've been actually diagnosed, or if you think you have it. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know, but learning, like I was saying earlier, it's really easy to just get caught up judging yourself because you're not able to cope or handle life or problems the same way that other normal people do. And so learning about the ins and outs of ADHD, and a lot of research and stuff has been done, and 30 years ago or less probably, I think it wasn't even seen as like you couldn't be diagnosed with it. They were just like, calm down, but there's a lot of new information out about it. And the more you learn about it, the more you learn about yourself, the more you learn about how to live life your own way and actually be successful,
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Because when I learned more about it, it definitely changed my life. Like, I felt so much better about me as a person because I was like, well, I'm not messed up. I have ADHD. My brain's just different. But it has so many, like, to me, I think there are benefits because, like we were saying earlier, like, I'm able to multitask like no one's business. I can do 5 things at once. I have imagination for days. Like, I can come up with campaigns or anything on the fly, like, real easy. I don't struggle with that. I'm super imaginative because of it, which I feel helps me, like, as an artist, or, like if I wanted to make a movie or something, I see images very easily, like, in my head, and it's easier for me to, like, translate. I'm good at describing shit to people, except feelings. I struggle with feelings.
Me too, yeah.
Feelings are hard for me, and social cues sometimes. Yeah. Or I can say inappropriate jokes sometimes when it's not a joking time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's embarrassing, but I'm learning. Like, I'm learning the things that I do, and I guess not mask, but just kind of be like more like normal people. But I'll never like truly be normal, but it's a nice like pipe dream, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so you're also a father and a husband. Do you incorporate like your family values into your work?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't know. In tattooing, I don't know how. I guess that's hard. That's a good question. It's tricky to answer though.
It is tricky.
Do I incorporate family values into my other work? I want to say no, maybe. I guess it doesn't come up. I mean, like, I won't let work, I do my best not to let work affect my home life too much. I have to, and because my schedule, I'm an appointment only tattooer, it's kind of all over the place. Everything actually, it kind of is. My schedule's all over the place. So a big thing that's helped, I'll tell you this, is linking my calendar to Meredith's calendar.
Oh, so y'all both calendar.
Yes,
that's
and she
smart.
can choose. It's not like her default. That one stays the same. You can set it up however you want, I guess. I'm not sure, but having that, so now there's like a lot less.
Each other's schedules.
Yeah, there's a lot less unmet expectations, and I think a lot of our problems, not even really to the extent of being a problem, small issues, whatever, any arguments, a lot of it came down to unmet expectations or timing. I guess scheduling is what really helped with that.
Scheduling,
Yeah.
that's the one.
Just so we know what each other's doing, because I come home around the same time 4 days in a row. She's gonna expect that the next day, rightfully so. And then I ended up. She's like, "What the heck? You been home at 8? It's midnight. Are you alive?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this. Thought I was the client. We were gonna be done it early, and then they changed their mind or this or that." And so adding things in the calendar, just over the top clear communication to the point where we literally have conversations where we're like, we're clearly communicating, and how are we still not getting it? Like, I'd be like, I told you, or she'll be like, I told you this at this time tomorrow, and you're saying right now you never knew about this. So we literally, you can't communicate too much.
So linking the calendar definitely helps.
Yeah. I got off on a tangent there, but yeah.
No, that's
the
smart.
calendars.
Okay.
Because what was the original question? How is
like just
be a father and all that? My values and work.
Yeah, even being at home. Like, do you ever get? Because I know like a lot of people that are especially artists, we tend to get lost in our work, and then like our family or loved ones may feel like we're neglecting them, or we're not spending enough quality time. Yeah,
I'm aware of that. I think I'm not. I don't know if it's even possible. I don't think I think I'm worse at that than I think I am. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, you think you could do better?
Yeah, I think, I think how good, I don't know, the words are escaping me right now, but my view of myself at how good I am with that social skill is, I think I'm just not as good as I think I am. And I know I'm not that great. I'm trying to work, trying to get better about that kind of stuff.
One thing that's ugly for me is like, I do get overwhelmed sometimes or overstimulated, and sometimes with people, which is like, I feel terrible because like sometimes I could be hanging out with like people or something, and I'll just get like overstimulated and just get like real quiet. But it's not because like I'm trying to be like douchey. Like, I'm just literally overstimulated, and I just need to like recenter. So like that has caused issues sometimes with people. Like, they think I'm giving off like a certain type of energy, or they take it real personal, but it's like, you can't control when you're overstimulated. So I feel like for people in general, like even with, being at home and stuff, it's like you can be there and still not spend quality time because maybe you're still overwhelmed from work or overstimulated from something else. But it's cool that just to try to figure out how you navigate that, like, how do you be more present at home, I guess? And like, how do you make your family and friends not feel like we just don't like them? Or,
and it's so easy to do that. I keep saying it's so, I've never realized how many things I say over and over again until you hear yourself on video. And now actually in the moment, I'm like, how many times have I said, it's so easy to get caught up doing that,
now
I forgot what I was going to say. What did you just say?
No, I forgot too. Right? No, ADHD, but you know what? It's cool.
Keep this in.
It's cool because I did have another question. So it's like, I was looking at your website and I saw some pretty cool skateboard designs. Like, so you design skateboards?
Yeah, I forgot about that earlier. So Cloak, that was my part of that company with Nigel. It's called Spread the Shred. And the deal we worked out is I had a part ownership of the company, and I continued to contribute designs whenever they were needed at whatever time. So because of that, over time, we kind of created a certain look. It was pretty cool. I haven't done any with them in a while.
Do you skateboard? Or did you?
Oh, yeah. Well, I grew up skateboarding. It was always like my thing. At a young age. I think I started skateboarding around when Rocket Power came out, I think.
I love that cartoon.
I think that might be what got me into it.
Dude, Regina.
Yeah, dude.
I like grew up in. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I like literally grew up and became her. Cause she was like a tomboy or whatever. I loved her.
Reggie.
Yeah,
and she had her zine.
Yeah, and then I forget the little. Was he Hawaiian? The
Squid Tito.
Yeah, he was totally a stoner.
Yeah,
he was giving that vibe.
The dad?
Yeah. But I didn't realize that as a kid. I just thought they were so laid back, and now like if I watch it as an adult, I'm like, those were totally like stoners. Yeah, but that was such a cute little cartoon, and I feel like that's a lot of the reason kids started skateboarding and just doing more like sports back in the day.
Yeah,
I didn't, but I hung out with all the kids that did. I was just too scared. Anxiety. I was like, I'm going to break a bone or something. So
that skateboarding really helped me with that. I think skateboarding really shaped the person who I am. I think it taught me determination and just perseverance. And And it got a lot of that rebellious stuff out, because I was out on the street skateboarding all over the city. I mean, like all over the city. It's a busy, pretty busy suburban city, Duncanville. Before and after school, with kids all ages. I really was exposed to a lot of things at a young age. And I think I know it's different for everybody, but for me, that really helped, I think, who I became later, because it was a lot easier for me to say no to this. At this point, I had already seen, and then with family issues in my family too, and people who struggle, like, it was easier for me to say no. By the time I was in 5th, 6th, 7th grade and around my first joint or something, I'd already been around it for so many years, or seen bad things happen, that I was just like, no,
dude, it's so okay. Cool how skateboarding can just help you.
Yeah, because for other people, it introduced them to these. I don't know what it was. My mom, probably good parenting. I don't know.
See, and like I was always attracted to it, but I was just too scared. I feel like skateboarders are wild. Like, you're just cool with the idea, like, I might break something and still do it.
Yeah.
I was just too scared. And we were hella poor. So it's like, if I broke something, I wasn't too sure if I could go to the hospital or not. And I would probably get my butt whipped by my mom.
Yeah.
I was probably going to get a whooping for breaking a bone.
Yeah.
Because, my mom was like hardcore about that. So that stopped me. But I guess my outlet for that was like EYL academics and just academic stuff, like spelling bees and things like that, which is not exciting like skateboarding, but I think it's cool that it had such a positive impact in your life. And I wish I would have had the courage to try it. I just like rode it straight, like just go straight on the skateboard, but I never like dropping in or anything like that. I was just too scared. I just felt like I was going to hurt myself.
Yeah. Well, dropping. Yeah. That's pretty advanced stuff right there.
Yeah. No. And
it's funny because people think that's the first thing you do when you skate. You learn to drop in. It's like, no.
Dude, there's this little skate park in Corsicana. I don't know if you know where Corsicana is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like in the middle of nowhere. And we used to go there in high school. And I'm talking about my friend James, but he never skateboarded. He was like me. We were the two nerds, and we were there with my brother and our other friends, and they skateboarded. I don't know why that day we made James drop in on a skateboard, and he literally never skateboarded. And when he dropped in, and I was recording this on my little Sony Handycam, so I'm sure the video's somewhere. When he dropped in, he fell so hard and hit his head. And obviously we're all stupid kids. We're all laughing. And he's literally like on the ground, probably has a concussion or something.
Yeah.
And none of us bother to check on him. And we're just like laughing. And now I feel like a terrible person in like hindsight. But then I knew exactly like I'm never skateboarding, because I saw how badly like he hit his head. Like, he's fine. He's alive. He's a CSI agent now. It's fine. But
great. Yeah. Worked out.
And he's just like into death now. Like his job is grimy, but I'm sure it's not due to that accident that day, but but yeah, that's when I knew it just wasn't for me. So I was cool with just being like a poser and just hanging around. Like, I'm not a poser because I never said I could. I just I liked the environment, and I would record. Yeah. So I was like the unofficial video person. Like, I would just get videos of their tricks. So that's kind of how I weaseled my way into that environment, because I really liked it. Like, I used to have posters of all the skateboarders on my walls and clippings from magazines. Like, I had a pretty cool room. Yeah. But I just couldn't do it myself. But
yeah. Well, that's what Cloak was. Cloak was mainly to have some cool stuff, like I was talking about earlier, like more unique items from common stores, but also a place where I could sell my own artwork. So
do you sell some of your skateboards in there? All the decks, and we had through Spread the Shred, we had grip made that matched certain boards. That's sick.
Other little things, other local small businesses. I had some wax in there. Anyway, a bunch of little random things, but some of my artwork displayed through the skateboards. I thought that was pretty cool.
No, that's
being able
sick.
to sell those boards.
That's adorable. Yeah. Like, so how do you have any like super memorable moments in your journey as an artist, or something that like really stuck with you? Like changed your life, or changed you, or just like a really great memory as an artist?
I did an art competition when I was younger. I guess that might be one of the things that made me feel like more.
Did you win something?
I won first place in Texas.
What'd you win?
Nothing.
Really?
I got to go to nationals.
Oh,
and then
man.
they messed it up there, and then they somehow mixed together sculptures with 2D art, normal paintings and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then they ended up not even judging it or something like that. So it was all, but it was through the church, and we got to go. There's all different things you could compete in, but there was different types of art. So I did fine art, and I got to travel for that. So that kind of gave me confidence, and it was really probably because it was through the church, but it was pretty easy. I felt like to win, especially when I saw what people were putting out, and that gave me a little more confidence. After, the next step for me then was I started selling artwork on Craigslist.
How old were you?
I was probably 15, 16.
Nice.
But even I would always sell things. I used to. My mom has the restaurant, so I would give her money to get, or probably saved up lunch money for, like the big pack of sour candy from Costco when they go get their stuff, and I'd sell them in school.
What? So you just had like a.
It's always a little bit of an entrepreneur in some way.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Trying to make a buck somehow.
I entered an art contest one time through a grocery store in Irving, and I won. And when I went to collect my prize, like I thought I was going to get money or something. I got a banana.
What?
A banana.
That's worse than nothing.
Yeah, like when you said nothing, I wanted to feel bad, but I was like, I want a banana. Like I would have just rather not won anything.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because they called us, and my mom and I went to the store, and we were all happy. My mom's like, "Oh my God, Mika, you won," and all this. And then the store manager's like, "Yeah, follow me, you're our winner." And I'm like, "Ooh, I wonder what it's." I was a kid. I'm like, I wonder if it's a bike or like money or something. And then we go to the produce aisle, and he's like, "Pick whatever banana you like." No, legit. He's like, "Pick whatever banana you like."
Pick whatever
and
banana.
I didn't even, again, emotional cues. And I was just like, can you just like give me one?
Yeah.
So he gave me a banana.
Like you're supposed to be excited. Like, oh, yeah. I love picking bananas.
No, and I couldn't even eat it right then because it wasn't even ripe. So I had to wait. I took it home, and I left it for a couple of days until it was ripe enough to eat. But yeah, and I think that ruined me as like doing art like that. Like I never again entered a contest or anything. Like I'm gonna win a banana. Yeah,
that really was just so I could travel with all my friends. Went to that church, really. So I knew
no, but that's cool. At least you got to travel and stuff. Yeah, I got to go to the grocery store and get a freaking banana.
Yeah, that is a
never again.
Story.
And you know what? It was Sack and Save. I'm gonna call them out.
Oh,
because I'm still bitter.
That's the Payless of of grocery stores.
That was like our grocery store though, because hella savings and stuff. But yeah, Sack and Save, y'all did me dirty back sometime in the 90s, and I'll never forget it. So at least, I guess that's memorable. But
a banana.
Yeah,
that had to have been a joke. They're like, I bet they're like, just watch this. They have those glass in grocery stores where they can see through down onto you. Know? It's
like look at that happy little girl.
They're like, watch her face when we give her this banana.
Well, I always wondered to have this conspiracy theory that maybe there was money and he kept it and then gave me a banana.
Were you all alone when you gave you the banana? Was he like, here you go?
No, I was with my mom, but her English was broken. So I was like a little Mexican girl. How was I going to know any different?
Have you ever asked your mom what she thought about the banana?
She's heartbroken, but she thinks it's funny. Like we recently just talked about this. She's like, remember when they gave you a banana? And I just like, yeah, I remember. Got triggered all over again. Yeah. And she's like, desgraciados, which means like, I guess it means disgraced in English, but in Spanish, it's supposed to be like you asshole kind of, but not vulgar. It's like a proper word. Okay. My mom doesn't really cuss. She speaks very proper Spanish. So
you jerks.
Yeah, like, you jerks. She was real sad for me, but yeah, I got a banana out of it. I got to eat it. I guess it was a good snack. Okay, so like, what impact do you hope to make through your art, and how do you want people to feel when they engage with your work, like your tattoos and your designs? Like, do you ever?
My main goal is usually on a simple levels. I want the designs to be as clear as possible from as far away as possible. Mm-hmm. And then as far as, what was the question again?
Like, what impact do you want to make with your work?
So as far as what impact do I want to make with my work, I just want people to be happy with it, I guess. I think straight to the tattoos, but when it comes to other artwork, I want people to, I guess if I'm being real honest, you always want people to be impressed with it or find value in it. Some people will find no value in it. Some people will pay whatever to get whatever, you know?
Yeah.
But
Will you tattoo anything on anyone, or
No,
are there
I don't
certain
do.
things
I won't
like
tattoo certain private areas. I won't do
Mm-hmm.
anything
like hateful,
political, really, or
Mm-hmm.
hateful, or yeah,
So you
dark
want
stuff,
positive
offensive.
stuff, yeah.
I mean, anything. I'll do toilet
Mm-hmm.
paper on you, but like I'm not gonna do like the president with an X on his face, or like
Yeah, like
F you
something.
or a cab or anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. No, that's probably like smart to just stay away from that like dramatic
Yeah.
stuff, because then people do regret it sometimes.
Oh, I think most people will. It's
Yeah,
like
and
you want your child that you don't have yet to see
Yeah.
like
in,
F the police.
yeah,
on
or
your
like
calf,
Nazi symbols or something,
or like a naked woman, or what, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's always exceptions
Well,
to
and then
things, but
they'll
when it
hate
comes
you
to
too,
that, I don't know.
even though it wasn't your fault. They'll be like, "Damn it, Colin, that guy tattooed
You should have
me."
told me better. You should have told me.
Yeah, and then they just hate you for
And
no
if
reason.
nothing else, if you tell them no, you won't do it, then maybe they won't get it. And if they do get it, it just shows that they really did want it. They had to go through more work to get it from someone else, so it's just that much more
That's how
sure
you know
that
you're
they
like
want it.
messed up. Like if you want something like truly offensive or hateful, that's how you know you're messed up. If you're willing to go through like every which way that you can just to get it. I mean, I guess I admire the dedication, but like
if it's for stuff especially that serves no purpose, or no purpose for you, but the only purpose it serves is to
just
offend somebody else, or instigate, or a reaction to someone instigating you. It's just
like I feel like your tattoo should be stuff that's like stuff that you like or meaningful.
Yeah.
Like even if you have a big old devil head or whatever, if that's your thing, that's your thing, But like other offensive stuff or political things, like I don't know why I would want that on my body anyway. I don't care enough about anything politically anyway to like like I wouldn't tattoo Trump or something with like because I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't feel anything for the guy, so it's just like I don't know.
And usually when you're going out of your way to make a point that you don't like something enough to get it tattooed, you give it enough time, you're probably not gonna feel the same way anymore.
No, it's like if I would have tattooed that store owner, like the one that gave me the banana, like I could have did a hateful tattoo for him, but I don't hate him anymore. I'm still sad about the banana.
I heard someone say, well, if you're wanting to buy something, like wait a week, like a big purchase, wait a week before you buy it, and most of the time you won't want to buy it anymore.
Okay, cool. So now kind of moving on a little bit from that. For you and with everything that you're doing, especially with the upcoming project of Cloak Collective, what is the importance of supporting and uplifting other artists within the community? Because it seems like that's kind of what you're trying to do with Cloak Creative. It's kind of like Cloak Creative, Cloak Collective. Sorry, memory.
Yep.
So yeah, like, is that something that's important to you? Like, supporting the community and uplifting other artists.
I plan on setting a certain percentage of our profits going back to either, I don't know if we'll do it monthly or quarterly. Monthly is probably too often to pick different people, but I want to take a percentage of the profits and give back to the community. I'd like to do it in a way where it's like, it's kind of whoever we pick, that time, maybe it's the schools to go towards computers, or maybe it's like the coffee shop next door, just anonymous, maybe,
That's so cool.
I don't know what we'll do yet, but I want to affect the community, and not just services, but in giving back and stuff like that.
No, that's really cool. And I think like kids will also see like artists in a new light, because for a long time like artists always get kind of like ostracized by society, like because we have tattoos or we look a certain way, like we must not be good people. So I think it's important for like the youth and the community too to see like people who look like us, like as business owners and doing positive things in the community, because I think it'll change a lot of their perspective on people that look like us.
I agree.
I don't know why people just expect the worst out of alternative looking people. Yeah. So I think that's pretty cool. I think that's admirable. And so looking ahead, what are your aspirations for the future of Cloak Apparel and Cloak Collective?
You said, what's my future?
Yeah, like your aspirations for the
so
brand.
For Cloak, really just to have a community of people, of different types of artists at different skill levels, like I was saying. I really want that. I want it to just create an atmosphere where everyone can feel at home and thrive and be creative. I haven't really seen anything much like this. And I think if done right, it could be a real breath of fresh air for a lot of people in an industry where something like this doesn't necessarily exist, and in an industry where people are so withheld on their information, they're afraid of creating any new competition. It'll be a cool thing. I mean, I really kind of got the idea from the space I'm in now, from the landlord we have now, the guy that's been mentoring me. He has, like, everyone in our building is, he strategically picked people who are small local business, but they're all some type of artist. So there's woodworkers and steel workers, there's tattooing, graphic design studios, videographers, sculpting, artwork, or there's like a sculpture spot, but everyone's an artist or a trade or has a craft, but no one really does the same thing. So everyone can collaborate and no one's in competition.
That's awesome.
And I hadn't really experienced that environment. And then that mixed with, I mean, that is essentially the co-working experience too. Co-working, I really think, is the future of a lot of small business and just business in general. Gets us away from, it gets us more into a space where we can collaborate, where it's more getting more of a mindset where, like, divided we fall, or together we stand, divided we fall. And I really like the idea of not having to be in competition, but working with the people. Even other tattoo shops, there's no reason why we can't work together.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. And I think it's like breaking away from like the average American work style. You go apply at a place and then you just work with like people who are completely different from you. Sometimes you don't even make like coworker friends or anything. So I think it's cool that you're kind of like curating this environment of like-minded people. So even if you don't know people right away when you first work there, it's cool to know at least you're going to be working with similar people to you who may or may not do the same thing. So like you're saying, it opens up collabing and just like friendships and connections. Because I think that's so cool. Because like I've worked in offices where there were like older people, just different generations, and we just had nothing in common. So if I would definitely want to be in a space where I know I'm going in to people that are more like me. I feel like that would make me really happy. So I think that might be the future, or it should be the future of the workplace. Like, not that you should be able to pick all your coworkers or anything, but it is cool how these new like work environments are popping up where people like you are curating like cool little like shops and similar people. Like, that's actually really smart.
Yeah. Right now, the way it is with not necessarily tattooing, but just being an artist and trying to push your stuff and sell merchandise, the industry is kind of like, doesn't really give you a shot until you're at the point that you have a little money and you can get a space or something. Or like, where are you going to meet? Where do you go to meet if you're an artist, a starting artist, and your goal is to be a professional eventually? Like, where do you go to this? There's no artist bar, like you don't go. There's not really anywhere to go,
right? Like right? Someone in Dallas should open like an artist bar.
Hey, maybe that's what's next door.
We'll
but.
Maybe your mentor can find an artist bar person to like put in there.
There's still spaces left. If anyone wants to own an artist bar, please come. We'll collaborate and work together.
So like if people are serious about leasing a space with Cloak Collective, is there a way for them to reach you now, or is that going to kind of come along as you get closer to the completion of the construction?
Both. So they can reach out now through my email, which is colin@colinjohnsonartist.com, or my Instagram, which is Colin Johnson Artist, Colin with one L with underscores in between the names. So you can shoot me a message on Instagram. You can email me. I'm on Facebook too, Colin Johnson. Reach out. I know eventually we're going to have a website that will have the application, like just the starter, a real simple application. We'll have something on there eventually, and we'll let you guys know. We're going to be putting out videos showing the progress and what we're about in more depth and everything like that. So stay tuned on that. Follow me on my Instagram if you want. On my YouTube too, we're going to be reviving that and doing that.
Nice.
So if you're looking to get a spot, or you're an artist, if you're even just a hobbyist, or you're a professional, or you're a tattooer and you'd like either a private room, or you want to be out with everybody tattooing in the open and you like that kind of environment, reach out. If you don't know where to look yet, just go to my Instagram or email me. And if there is another option, we'll let you know at that point. So
awesome. Well, you guys heard it from the best. And also, if you need any tattoos, I cannot recommend Colin enough. Like, he is awesome to work with. It's not like when you go to a tattoo artist and there's like this pressure, or they're like douchey to you, or they think your ideas are dumb or anything. Like, he'll help you like with your tattoo. He'll help you like come up with your designs, how to better express your ideas. Like, he's a really great person. And if you were really thinking about getting a space, I highly recommend his space, just because Colin's a good person. Like, you already know the kind of the landlord you'll be dealing with, and I know you probably won't have any problems, and he's a cool dude. Like, I highly recommend that you go to him for tattoos or your own potential business that we may be visiting you at Cloak Collective, which
I hope so.
Will hopefully be here by like the end of the year, maybe beginning of next year.
Hopefully before the beginning of next, by the end of the year, hopefully.
Yeah, let's put that energy out there.
Yes.
So I guess to wrap up, it's like, thank you so much for coming out. Like, it's really cool of you to take time to come out here and talk to us about everything that you do and what you're planning to do. My last question is, for me, since I'm at the beginning of my journey here with DTXSTREET Sessions, do you have any advice for me? Because I don't have a mentor. Do you have any advice for me on this journey? Any words or anything that you think will help me as I
don't know.
navigate this?
I'm already super impressed by all this. It already looks so good. I've seen the other podcast already. It's so exciting. Advice.
Yeah. Like, what can I do better?
Get a mentor now.
Scheduling,
really, though, maybe
get a mentor.
But it sounds like you don't, what you're doing, if it works for you on how you produce your work, I wouldn't change that. I would getting a mentor helps, because it just gives you that extra, whenever you're talking with them, by the next time you talk to them, it's a report card essentially.
Okay.
It keeps you on track, because you want to do good for yourself, but you also want to show them you're not wasting their time. And if you truly respect them, you'll show that, and you'll take what they say to heart, and they're going to give you points of view that you'll never think of otherwise. And reach out to anybody, no matter who they are. You never know. They might say yes. You might reach out and get straight to the top. Your number one person that you reach out to might be like, okay, yeah, I like your work. You're already doing cool stuff. You're already doing podcasts already. Look at it. Like,
so cool.
But yeah. I don't know. Just stay yourself and keep doing what you're doing. Stay yourself and be persistent.
Thank you. No, I will definitely keep that in mind. And, if you guys are watching too, if y'all have any advice for me or for Colin or for any of us, like, do leave us some comments, let us know your thoughts. Like, should I get a mentor? I know for sure I got to get a CPA. Yeah. Again, like, for real, please, like, comment one if you know one.
Just do it.
Yeah. And you guys, please don't forget to like us and subscribe to us, show us a little love. And I'm opening the door now, but if down the line, any of you guys want to mentor me or, become a part of my journey with DTXSTREET Sessions, as far as like sponsorships or anything, let me know. I am looking for sponsors. It would be great, to be able to do more for the show, for the podcast. And, again, maybe a mentor. Anyone wants a mentee, I'm here.
Yes.
But thank you guys, and thank you for coming out. It's been awesome. And you guys make sure you go and follow and give Colin some love.
Thank you guys for watching. And thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.
This is awesome.
And thank you, Viz, for the production, as usual.
Of course. Always.